What's the craziest thing you've done for love or someone has done for you? Response 1.
One day, she changed her number without telling me. I spent 3 months saying good morning and good night and sending her messages of love, unaware that they weren't reaching the new number. I thought one day she would respond and have a smile on her face, knowing that I had never forgotten about her. After those days, I logged into Facebook only to find her profile in the friend suggestions where she was seen kissing someone else. I messaged her asking what had happened and why she did that to me. Hours later, she replied saying she didn't care about what I thought, and that a goodbye was all I needed. I spent the day crying, but now I say it with a laugh, not knowing it was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Response 2.
My first boyfriend fell ill with testicular cancer. He had a giant seminoma that had invaded part of his intestine, so he underwent 5 abdominal surgeries in less than 2 weeks. It was a very difficult period. We were both finishing college, and I had service practices, but still, I made sure to visit him daily in the hospital in the afternoons. On one occasion, I even spent the night there. I brought him floral arrangements and had to provide nursing care, such as hygiene for his ostomy bag and surgical wounds. One day, without him telling me, his family made me aware that his ex-girlfriend had visited him. He eventually told me, even though she continued to be very close to his family, she immediately reconnected with him. A week later, while browsing memes on his phone, I naively found screenshots of conversations with her exchanging messages of love and affection. It was my first broken heart. I couldn't believe what she had achieved with just one visit, despite me taking care of him all that time, even juggling to cheer him up. I thought I had earned a place in his life. In the end, we broke up 2 months later. She left him and he came back to me, but I ended up blocking him permanently.
Response 3.
I met my boyfriend at work. Shortly after we started dating, I was asked to do a night shift. He had already left, but he chose to wait for me in the bathrooms until dawn to accompany me. Even though he hated that place, he decided to stay for me. That was the moment I realized he was someone very special.
My name is Alex, and this is the story of the craziest thing I've done for love, even though it didn't end as I hoped. It all started when my girlfriend, Clara, shared one of her biggest dreams, to see the stars from the top of a mountain. I decided to make her dream come true, even though I was always more of a city guy and had no experience in outdoor activities. I researched mountaineering and trained hard to be prepared. Months of dedication passed before I was finally ready to carry out my plan. The day I surprised Clara with a getaway to a remote mountain, I knew it was the right moment. With tears in my eyes, I confessed that I had learned to climb just for her, to make her dream come true. And there, under the starry sky, I thought it was all worth it. However, when we returned to the city, I realized that I had done all that for someone who no longer loved me. It was a tough blow, but it made me reflect on the true meaning of love and how far I was willing to go for it. Although our relationship ended at the top of that mountain, I learned that true love also involves taking care of myself and valuing my own emotional well-being. Sometimes, love leads us to make grand gestures, but we must also remember to love ourselves in the process.
Response 5.
I was about to change schools for her, but before the paperwork was done, we broke up. I also had a very strong argument with my sister because she swore she saw her with another guy. I told her that if she didn't have proof, she shouldn't be defaming my girlfriend. Turns out, she was cheating on me. I regret having that stupid argument with my sister, even if we're okay now.
Response 6.
I moved from Mexico to Peru for her, so she wouldn't lose her foundation as a doctor. I left behind my family, friends, career, and job. We got married, and after 3 years, she simply told me she didn't love me anymore. I never disrespected her. I always tried to be the best husband for her. But she could never give me a reason for leaving me. After a month of silence, she sent me a message saying it was all my fault. But she could never tell me why.
Response 7.
I guess my experience would be receiving flowers. It might not sound so strange, but it changes at least a bit when I say I'm a guy. After all, many men receive their first flowers at their funeral. Also, giving flowers to a guy isn't very common. Besides, this girl seemed to be obsessed with me, always seeking the opportunity to be with me, hugging me, and knowing where I was all the time. Even to this day, it hurts to remember seeing her cry when I rejected her.
Response 8.
I worked with this girl at a Ruby Tuesdays, and for her birthday we all went out for drinks. We were all friends, and I think she knew I liked her at the time, though I hadn't made move yet. She put off this rocker vibe, tattoos, colored hair, loved 80s hair metal and rock music in general. So for her birthday I decided to burn her a CD of all of my favorite songs from the band The Kills, because lead singer Alison Mosshart kinda reminded me of her, and I thought that their music would be right up her alley. So I burned the CD on my computer, decorated the CD cover with Sharpie, made it look really cool. I wrapped it up with fancy wrapping paper and a bow and gave it to her at the end of the night. I didn't wait for her to unwrap it, partly because I was still nervous about her reaction to my gesture and partly because I didn't want to put her on the spot while we were out amongst friends. I figured she would just let me know if she liked it at work the following week, and I would use that as an opportunity to ask her out. Cut to next week. There was a day that I was off and she was working, and so was a close buddy of mine from high school. I come in the following day for work and he pulls me aside and says, "Dude, you should just forget about her." He goes on to tell me she had basically shit-talked my gift, saying, "I can't believe he did that, I don't even like The Kills." My friend and I are really tight and he's very outspoken and defends me, saying, "Are you kidding me? You should be so fucking lucky that anyone gives a shit about your birthday at all." When I heard about that incident, it killed any interest I had in her. She never even thanked me for the CD at all, she just never mentioned it, and I moved on.
Response 9.
One year for Valentine's Day, I bought a half day of spa time for my wife. We had been married for about 10 years and I wanted to really pamper her. The spa gift certificate was from a very upscale salon and included a full body massage, facial, manicure, pedicure, and other things as well. It was not cheap, but I wanted to really treat her to something meant just for her. When she opened it, she did not seem very excited. She never really said much about it and placed the gift certificate on her dresser, where it sat for more than 2 years. She later said she didn't like it and had no desire to go to a spa. I think she finally went and got a manicure and a pedicure, but not the massage. Total bomb on my part. I didn't care about the money as much as I did the missed opportunity.
Response 10.
My girlfriend at the time was a very anxious girl who had some problems in the past with hurting herself and suicidal thoughts, etc. Well, I thought it would be nice to make her a little tiny leather-bound book. I bought special paper that looked rustic, cut individual pages, sewed them all together, bound them to a piece of leather that I cut, sewed a snap button onto it so it could be snapped shut, and put it on a necklace. The book was very small. I had plans to write nice things on each page every once in a while about how much I loved her and what a great person she is, in the hopes that maybe next time she had an episode where she wanted to hurt herself, she'd read it and maybe it would stop her from doing it. After writing 2 pages, I found out that she was cheating on me with one of my best friends. She came by my house to drop my stuff off 2 days before Christmas. I gave her the book because I didn't want it. I ripped those pages out and threw them away.